just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number, courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
In this bulletin, 44 families who previously lived in squatters' settlements in Suva today moved into new homes at the Langi Langi housing project. The Sugar Research Institute of Fiji will revitalize a strategic plan to underpin the future success of the sugar industry. And the Education Ministry is looking to adopt open educational resources to help improve the quality and effectiveness of our school curriculum. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. 44 families who previously lived in squatter settlements in Suva today moved into new homes. The units are part of the Langi Langi housing project aimed at providing adequate housing for families from informal settlements. Akusita Tale reports.
The door has opened for one of many families who can now call Langi Langi their own home. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has acknowledged the partners with the government in this project. However, he believes more can be done.
It is far greater than our existing resources can meet. So I ask others to come forward, whether it is from the private sector or from our own development partners or from other government, non-government organizations. It is the most noble of endeavors to provide decent and affordable housing to every Fijian as we continue our mission to build a modern nation state.
One of the recipients of keys to her new home is 70-year-old Krishna Kumari. She is a familiar sight as a beggar on the streets of the capital. However, unknown to many, Kumari has been saving $1 a day since the 1970s, and today she paid about $17,000 for her new home.
Fiji's homeless deserves roofs over their heads, and my government is determined, working in partnership with those who share our vision, to provide them. In any event, the Constitution compels us to meet this objective, and we will.
We've been living here for years. It's not an easy life. I want to thank the current government. Mr. Bainimarama, thank you very much.
It's very good. I'm very happy, and because I came from a very poor family, so it's a very big thing for me to go into this house.
The first phase of 33 units in the Langi Langi housing project was completed in 2013.
In phase 2, which is behind us, where work has already commenced, we plan to have another 76 housing units, as well as a community hall and office, a kindergarten and homework centre, a small market, a police post, sports facilities and some taxi stands. Government will cover the cost of the housing.
The total cost of the 44 new units opened today is $4 million. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The Sugar Research Institute of Fiji will revitalize their strategy as they take steps to underpin the future success of the sugar industry. In 2 years' time, the sugar sector will face one of its biggest challenges when the European Union quota comes to an end. Christopher Chan reports.
It's the first time the newly appointed SHRIF board is meeting. Although it's early days, they realize they don't have much time.
Whilst in the past we may have wanted to take more time to plan and do things, I think time now is for much more action.
One of the first decisions made by the new board is the approval of a budget of $2.5 million.
We have issued guidelines for the development of a refreshed strategic plan for SHRIF, and the board will take a lot of interest in its development.
The board has also decided to advertise the CEO's position and are on the hunt for a technical advisor.
Yes, some key decisions that needed to be made to give confidence to the industry and to ensure that the institute functions properly. but also guidance to senior management in terms of what needs to be done as we go forward.
Professor Chandra leads the board with 3 other new appointments. Their goal is to drive sugar research and development in the country. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Education Ministry is looking to adopt open educational resources to help improve the quality and effectiveness of local education. A national consultation was held in Suva today to deliberate on the benefits that open educational resources can provide for the education sector. Ritika Pratap reports.
The new open educational resources are expected to help develop an open culture of information sharing amongst schools, teachers, principals, and higher education institutions.
Open educational resources describes any educational resource including curriculum maps, course materials, textbooks, streaming videos, multimedia applications, podcasts, and any other materials that have been designed for use in teaching and learning that are openly available for use by educators and students without an accompanying need to pay royalties or license.
The evolution of OER has the potential to reduce the cost of education and provide learners access to top quality course materials and instructions. Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the journey towards OER usage has its own challenges.
We need to remove restrictions in copying of materials by use of open licenses. Royalty payments for textbooks and other educational materials can therefore be avoided, as well as the cost and timing in securing permission to use copyright materials.
Reddy says they want to ensure that educational materials that are developed using public funds are made available under open licenses. Meanwhile, UNESCO's director in Samoa, Dr. Entine Clement, says the internet is widely used in the education sector.
Number of textbooks are out of date nowadays. So indeed, the opportunity of this internet revolution and the concept of OER is a response to this upgrading of quality of educational resource.
The only known activity in OER that is available in the country is at the USP's Center for Distance and Flexible Learning, where there is a repository of 74 learning packages. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The Social Democratic Liberal Party has accepted the budget granted by government for its administration work for each of their parliamentarians. SODELPA Administrator Mick Beddoes says the funds will now enable them to run their office more effectively. Sakius Ivor reports.
SODELPA has confirmed to FBC News they have agreed to the $225,000 provided for its secretariat and administrative support work.
I can confirm that last Friday we received the full amount from the Secretary General, which is $225,000. And that's come about because in a business committee meeting that was held, I think, sometime in earlier on, the position on the funding, the insistence that the funds be paid to the political parties, changed.
Beddoes says the recent visit by the Fiji delegation to the United Kingdom, which was led by the Speaker of the House, Dr. Chikulubeni, caused the change. The parliamentarians were informed that funds are not paid to political parties, but to the parliament offices.
They now have paid it to the political parties' parliamentary office, not to the political parties as was initially intended, which is what we objected to.
The funds will enable SODELPA to manage the administrative and operational needs. Sakius Sanevua, FBC News.
The branch manager of a DVD outlet in Suva has been fined $500 for selling pirated DVDs containing a rugby match that was broadcast exclusively on FBCtv. The Magistrates Court ordered Nitesh Chand to pay the fine within 28 days or face 30 days imprisonment. In 2013, Chand, a branch manager of an outlet of exotic electro movie world, sold DVD copies of the Fiji versus Classic All Blacks match, which was broadcast exclusively on FBCtv. The coverage was the copyright of the Fiji Rugby Union and the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation. Chand told the court he only sold 3 DVDs to buy lunch for himself and his staff. Coming up after the break, the Ministry of Industry and Trade strengthening consumer protection with the establishment of a tribunal.
FM number 2 and the Serena Honan in Denmark in Central Rental Support Minichi Mevana Koloko. Nisabola.
Oya wa watisoni dalai.
Gonga ya mozidon.
Nama kikirau mena tolu kina bitu. Ena via kabi. Moliti kina porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 and the Serena.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you're having fun so far. You're listening to The Ride, and I'm Kara, taking you through your afternoon. Stay with me to listen to more awesome classics right here on The Ride. Bulubinaka, for awesome sounds in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful classics. Join me on The Ride every weekday right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits from 2 to 7.
Just don't ask me what it was. I think it's cause
The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation and the Fiji Women's Business Council today presented a joint oral submission on the company's bill to the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights. Noel Tofinga of the Employers Federation highlighted the need to consider small micro enterprises and adjust the legislation to be simpler, more effective and easily applicable. He also raised concerns on the cost of doing business and what impact the proposed bill may have on this. The committee is currently hearing public submissions on the bill, which is the first comprehensive review since the Act was implemented 30 years ago in 1985. The Fiji Sugar Corporation and the Ministry of Sugar have donated 5 tons of sugar to Vanuatu as relief assistance. Acting Permanent Secretary for Sugar, Parmesh Chand, says the supplies complement Fiji personnel who are already on the ground helping in the cyclone-affected country. Chand says the sugar industry has come together to respond swiftly and they will hold further discussions to see how they can provide more assistance. This is the first ton of sugar and another 4 tons will be added before it is shipped to Vanuatu next week.
The donation is as small as it is our way of saying that we are here, we do care and that we are assisting you in your hour of need.
There are more than 50 personnel from Fiji helping in Vanuatu, led by the Commissioner Western Manasatangi Vakimbao. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism is working on strengthening consumer protection by establishing a tribunal. This was highlighted by Minister Fayaz Koya at the celebration of World Consumer Rights Day in Suva yesterday. Watisoni Rakandroka reports.
Strengthening consumer protection is one of the issues that the Ministry of Industry and Trade is working on.
We are mindful of the fact that consumers are required to go through the normal court processes. And let me assure you that my ministry is working on strengthening consumer protection regime through the establishment of a consumer tribunal.
Koya adds that the tribunal will be a mechanism that will enable quicker redress whereby consumers will not have to wait for lengthy court processes.
In order to support the mechanism, a consumer protection law is being considered which would set the procedures for the tribunal.
The ministry highlighted that consumer protection in general is the responsibility of every government. Watisoni Rekondroka, FBC News.
A group of local musicians, dancers and other performing artists are getting together tomorrow to host a one-night-only fundraising concert for families affected by Cyclone Pam. The lineup will see performances from Elena Mbaravilala, the Vo Dance Group, Band of Brothers, Nicole Manuel and Nanise Rainima, the reigning Miss Hibiscus. Organizer Tura Lewai says the money raised will be handed over to assist Save the Children Fiji in their efforts to purchase relief supplies for those affected living in Tuvalu, Kiribati, the Solomon Islands and Vanuatu.
This concept was put together by young artists around Suva and Fiji, and the title "We Care," basically means that we actually care about what's happening. We care about the suffering of our brothers and sisters in the countries that were affected by the cyclone. And we may not have a lot of funds, we may not have a lot of money to give, but we do have our gifts and our arts, and that's something that we are using to ask people to come and give. $10 may be a lot for some people, but for somebody else, it could be a life-changing and a life-saving donation.
The We Care concert will be held tomorrow night at the Playhouse on Selborne Street in Suva. Sports is up next. Here's Jamie.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, FRU CEO clarifies sevens bonus structure, and Epeli Langiloa calls for Fiji Rugby Union to do more for sevens players. Details after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablanca. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची इट्स हॉट।
The Fiji Rugby Union says the bonuses paid to the Fiji Sevens team after a World Series tournament are still in effect. Rugby House says the player contracts, however, dictate that the amount each player receives will depend on certain factors. Charlie Ndautakdaka has more.
Fiji Sevens players will continue receiving their bonus payments when competing in the World Sevens Series, but under their new contracts, the size of the bonus depends on where they ended up in the tournament.
What's in the contract at this point in time is that if they win the finals or if they come third or second, right down to bowl, there are bonus allocations for all of those.
The amount the players receive also depends on several factors of their personal performance in the tournament.
For example, players being suspended or yellow carded. So we are trying to use our bonus payments as an incentive to get people to pursue our objectives.
The players in the squad who don't have contracts will receive allowances as well as a share of the bonus should the team win. Talendo Takavak, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, former Fiji Sevens rugby manager Epeli Langiloa is pleading with the Fiji Rugby Union management to do more for players. The fitness master raised his concerns after witnessing the national side lose top players to better paying overseas rugby clubs. Josephine Navula reports.
Now that the Fiji Rugby Union has clarified bonuses will be paid as always, former Fiji Sevens manager Epeli Langiloa says the players whose needs must be looked after in order for the team to perform.
In as far as as the rugby house is concerned, the policy matters are not cleared for the players. The signing of the contract, who signed the contract, the part of the sponsors, and the demand for the players. And I think there's a lot of pressure will be coming to the team management, especially at this crucial time when we are trying to gear up for the Hong Kong Sevens.
Langiloa adds, despite financial problems faced by the union, national coach Ben Ryan has done a great job in nurturing the team.
I think Ben Ryan has been right in trying to deal with this issue for a long time. And he was putting his plan. Everything is on track now.
He adds players are the treasured asset of any team.
I think it's just a good turn from the rugby house to give the credit where it's owed. And I think the credit is owed to the players.
The national sevens team will be playing in the Hong Kong Sevens, which starts this Friday. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
Hundreds of students from the Nandi District School got to learn basic karate skills today after a visit from Australia's martial arts champion Andrew Ravuna. The school's head teacher, Meli Thambembula, says they are overwhelmed to have Ravuna taking time to teach the students about a sport that can also be used for self-defense. Thambembula adds the visit is also a boost to the students as they get to meet an expert in the sport and also learn about the skills they usually watch only on television. The 19-year-old who hails from Ba says the interest shown by the students is inspiring and is looking forward to visiting them in the future. Ravuna was a champion at the International Sport Karate Association US Open back in 2012. New Zealand will now face either Australia or India, who meet in the second semi-final tomorrow. Meanwhile, here on FbcTV tonight at 10, you can catch the highlights of the New Zealand-South Africa match. That is your sports for tonight. Good evening.
The Ministry of Agriculture is looking at reviewing the act that governs slaughtering of livestock in the outer islands. Reviewing the legislation will allow the transporting of carcasses from outer islands rather than shipping the whole live animal. Savara Tambua has more.
It's costly transporting infected live animals from the outer islands, and not to mention a sure way of spreading diseases. This could all change with the legislation outlining this up for review.
When it comes to disease risks, it's always a good practice to reduce movement of live animal, and for that we would be reducing the risk of having to spread disease from the north or even from the smaller islands, if there are diseases in those areas, by slaughtering and moving carcasses.
Farmers will be benefit once the act is implemented, having gone through the necessary processes. Dairy Farmers General Secretary Vijendra Prakash says they are looking forward to the changes.
Support the new legislation that is coming for the slaughtering of the animals in the island and maritime areas, and I think it's long overdue and it needs to be done so that people are aware about the new regulation that will be coming in so that they are able to follow.
The ministry is looking at constructing slaughterhouses in Ovalau, Raketi and Sianganga. For Ngau and Koro, this will depend on the number of livestock in the area. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Fine weather was experienced over most of the country today, with light rain showers reported in some areas. Temperatures continued in the 30s, hitting 32 in Lambasa and a low of 28 degrees in Savusavu. The rest of the centres recorded 30 and 31. Tomorrow and a little closer to the weekend, we have sunshine and fine weather forecast across the islands in the mornings and showers in the afternoon, with the exception of Lambasa, except fine weathers throughout. Further outlook. Brief showers about the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, possible afternoon or evening showers. Southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas with moderate southerly swells. And recapping our headlines, 44 families who previously lived in squatter settlements in Suva today moved into new homes at the Langi Langi housing project. The Sugar Research Institute of Fiji will revitalize a strategic plan to underpin the future success of the sugar industry. And the Education Ministry is looking to adopt open educational resources to help improve the quality and effectiveness of our school curriculum. To our poll segment this week, we're asking, can Fiji win the Hong Kong Sevens with the current lineup? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. And that's our bulletin for today. Join the team again at the same time tomorrow. Till then, Nimo Demanda.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार, मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। है दोस्तों, मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल। आप रात के बाद हमारे साथ अब रफ्तार प्रोग्राम में 3 से लेकर रात 7 के बीच शामिल हो सकते हैं। मिर्ची FM, इट्स हॉट।